It all began with a sudden, unexplainable chill that made my arm hairs stand on end. I was mindlessly browsing the bookshelf when my eyes landed on the old silver frame. It was the portrait from last Christmas. Mom, Dad, my brother James, and me, all wrapped in paper crowns, and with those genuine, crinkle-eyed smiles. It was such a perfect snapshot of happiness. But the slice was rotten. My coffee cup almost hit me right in the face. It was James. Usually, he's all smiles and mischief. But today, his face was completely different. His eyes, which generally sparkled with laughter, were now empty and dark, like pools of spilled ink. And his smile, it was a forced, wide grin that didn't have any warmth at all. It was like he was wearing a mask, even though his face was filled with dread. A cold knot formed in my stomach, and I blinked hard, hoping the strange image would vanish, but it stayed put. The James in the photo seemed to be staring out with those empty eyes, like a silent scream, caught in time. I thought it was just a trick of the light, or a printing error. So, I tucked the frame away behind a pile of books, hoping to shake off the strange feeling that something wasn't quite right. The next morning, I felt a strong pull to come back. My heart was racing as I pulled the frame out from where it was hiding. Suddenly, a deeper chill ran through me, like it was freezing my bones. James' face, still twisted in shock, wasn't the only one frozen in disbelief. My mother, who had been laughing so hard her head was thrown back, was now completely still. Her head was tilted forward, and her once warm, brown eyes were fixed directly on me. There was no love or recognition in that gaze. Instead, there was a flat, predatory intensity. Her smile was gone, replaced by a thin, stern line. It was the look she'd give me when I had done something truly terrible as a child, magnified 100-fold by a cold, alien malice. A whimper escaped my lips. This was no trick of the light. The photograph was indeed changing. I felt like I was being pulled into something. I dashed into the living room, my heart pounding, only to see my father's face, once so kind, now drawn and hollow, his skin stretched tight over his skull. One hand, like a claw, seemed to be reaching for something at the edge of the picture frame. The bright, cheerful backdrop of our living room started to fade, shadows creeping in from the corners, like ink spilled on the floor. The tinsel on the tree behind us, which used to be a sign of joy, now looked more like cobwebs. What really got under my skin was how things kept changing. It wasn't like they just popped out of nowhere. It felt like someone was writing a story just for us to watch. It was a really scary, unavoidable tale, starting with James' empty eyes, then Mom's accusing look, and finally, Dad's slow, desperate decline. It was like a series of events, a countdown to something that just had to happen. To what? The answer finally showed up on the fourth day. As I got closer to the shelf, a wave of intense fear washed over me, like a metallic, sour taste in my throat. The photo was almost completely swallowed by shadows now. My family was just ghostly silhouettes, their faces hidden by the creeping darkness. All except for one. My own face. I was the last one to change. And in the picture, I wasn't smiling at all. My mouth was wide open in a silent, perfect O of horror. My eyes were wide and bulging, reflecting an absolute terror that seemed to suck the air from the room. And I wasn't looking at the camera anymore. I was looking out of the photograph, past the frame, directly at the spot where I was standing right now. That photograph wasn't just a memory or a joke. It was a chilling glimpse into a future filled with unimaginable terror. It captured the end of my story, frame by frame. A floorboard creaked behind me. The sound was soft, but in the room's heavy silence, it felt like a gunshot. I froze, my blood freezing in my veins. I didn't want to turn around, but I didn't have to. The cold got worse on my neck, and I could hear the faint, rhythmic sound of breathing that wasn't mine. It was all there, slowly, against every scream in my body. My eyes moved from my own frozen image in the photo to the glass of the frame. In its dark surface, I could see the room behind me, all distorted and murky. I saw them standing there, just as they were in the picture. Their hollow eyes, warped features, and piercing stare was unmistakable. The photograph remained unchanged. It had been updating, and now it was finally perfectly accurate.